Hi, so today's lesson will be slightly different. We'll be going through the documentation and then just quickly have an overview in Slide IntelliJ, just building a login screen, and that will move into another stage. So what is today's lesson about? Today's lesson is about GUI, which is a graphical user interface. And now there's two ways we can do this, actually three. We can either make a web interface using Spring, we can use the older Java Swing library, or we can use JavaFX. JavaFX is moderately popular depending on how you use it, or depending on the JavaFX is moderately popular in certain environments because of its actual newer interface and the ability to style it and so forth really nicely using style sheets. So JavaFX has a stage, a scene, and a scene graph. Now, what is a stage? Well, the stage is your window. So if this is the entire Firefox, then this entire thing is the stage. This here is a scene, which is inside this window section here. And these here are also other nodes inside the scene. So what is displayed? So me moving between these are all different scenes inside the same stage because it's the same window. Okay, so we're not using the default Java FX library. We're using JFoenix in order to extend the library in order just to make it look nicer using this material theme. So you can change it however you want. And instead of using normal buttons, you'll be using JF buttons and stuff like that. So it's just an extension of the normal Java library. We'll also be needing the scene builder. I'll leave the link in the description as well. Click the download now button and select the correct one that deals with your specific system, like using the Windows installer or the Mac OS one. Now, both in NetBeans and IntelliJ, I'm going to also be using IntelliJ instead of NetBeans for today. You can get it for free, the Community Edition. I have the Professional Edition as I'm currently a student. On NetBeans, you click File, Start, File, New Project, JavaFX, and the JavaFX application. But I'm using IntelliJ this time. This. So create new project, JavaFX application, JavaFX on the left side, next, give it a name, and I'm going to call it server 2, just for the reason I already made a server in class today, or login screen actually. And you just finish, and then we have this. So what we have is a main, a controller, and a sample. If we check the scene builder, this is what currently our scene looks like. Currently there's just a grid pane, nothing else here, there's just a controller, that's empty, a main class, and that's it. So main is our model, so our business logic. Controller is the one that interacts between our view, which is what we can see, what the user does, and the model. So controller takes the input from the sample, from our view, manipulates that using the model, or that we gives it to the model, and the model manipulates it and gives a result, and the controller passes that result back to the view. Now, let me just make the font slightly bigger.
So I made a mistake and didn't actually record the video when I did this last time, so I missed an entire about 10-15 minute section, and I didn't realize that till today. Okay, so you can right-click on your sample, and you can then open it in Scene Builder, if you have Scene Builder installed. And then you have to make sure that at the bottom left here that your class controller is correct. In terms of it has to have the same name as your controller does over here in the sample. So it's sample, the package name, dot controller. Sample name, dot controller. Now, what I like to use is the actual theming. So what you should need to do first is make sure that you have the library added to your project. So you need to go into the actual location of your files. You right-click and then you basically show this in Explorer, and like that. And then that will show you the source location. So in sources, make a new folder, call it something like resources, and paste that JFoenix jar file there, just to make sure that you're actually able to package this with your program. If you don't want to use theming, or if you want to use something else and just want to write the style yourself, then you don't need to use this. But I prefer just to have a pre-done one that looks nice already, and then we can use that. So the next thing we need to do is we need to actually add it to our project. So we're going to go onto File, and then we're going to go onto the project structure here. Once that opens, and then we're going to go onto we're going to go onto the module. So we're going to add a module. Oh, sorry. We're going to go to the libraries. We're going to add a library, Java, and then our server 3 source resources, and we can then add that JFoenix and click OK. The other option that you can use, okay, you want to add a ticket? Yeah, sure. All right, and if you've done that correctly, then over here in Scene Builder, you should be able to then take your themes, and you should have these themes here. What I'm going to pick, let me check J, and they're all going to start with JFX. That's just the theme. All the ones that are non-theme will start just generally. So first thing you need is a container. So we're going to just use a JFX anchor. Let's just actually get an anchor, normal anchor pane. This is just basically your normal frame where you put everything in, right? And inside there, we're going to then add, we need to have 2 text areas. Well, we need a text field firstly for the user to put in their username. Then we need a password field for the person to put in their password. And then we also need to have some tooltips. So not tooltips, labels. Just to say that the person has to put in username. I don't know, let's put it above here. And password. So let's double click on this, username, and let's center that over here, and then put it across that. It's got really nice help. Password, center that text, and then put it in the center. Awesome. Here we can then have a tool prompt text, which is enter username, and enter password. Actually, let's move that to the left-hand side here. All right. And let's make that go to the same spot. There we go. Slightly down, so that's in line there. All right, let's just leave it at that. Then we're going to change this theme. I like the dark version, so maybe go something like, yeah, that looks nice-ish. And then we also need a button. That one will be login. And then maybe we'll also need a register button. Let's create a duplicate and call that register. And let's enter that text. Just have it. And yeah, that looks okay. Enter username, enter password. Well, everything looks okay. And we probably need something like a menu bar or something. So first need to have our menu bar at the top. And inside there we'll have our quit button. So if we double click on that, now if we check on here on the hierarchy, as you can see here, this is all in the grid pane. I don't want that in the grid pane. So let's just cut, delete that, and paste. Take that menu bar, this has a file, this is menu item quit. I should save that and let it run. So let's run that and see what happens. It's currently building it. And we got our username and password here. Alright, so this coloring isn't very nice, and the reason for that is because it's not an external library. We need to fix that. So we go File, Project Structure, and then we're going to take Artifacts, JavaFX, including Project Build, and over here, JFoenix. double click on that and click apply. Okay. Yeah. And let's play that again. Need to fix that theming. Also have to create the manifest so that it knows where to fetch everything. So we go set file, project structure, and then include this in project build, JFoenix, export that, on compile, apply, okay. Let's see if that works. How to build it. That didn't work. All right, so let's try. Project. Let's give it a title, server. Give it a width of about 1200, height 800, apply. Create a manifest over here on server 3. Just click that. Okay, everything good, apply, okay. So we're going to click File, Project Structure, select Modules over here, oops, Dependencies, and we have a plus there. So let's add that jar. Just again. And we're going to remove this one. Apply that. So let's try now, just making this black. Color 0, 0. Wait, that's white, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry. I'll just write black. Save that. See how it looks. And that works. So the problem's along the lines of something else. Right, so that's now black. Let's make sure this text is white. No, it isn't, so we're going to make the prompt text here white. The unfocused color. The opacity back. Bring this to white. That here, let's bring that also to white. No, sorry, color. No, that's not it. Themes, Moderna, dark. Save that. See how it looks like. Ooh, that looks a lot nicer. Whatever, dark. Now we probably want to style these buttons a bit. Not sure why these buttons are not that color, but let's go with that. Background color is blue. You can change the colors however you like. I'm just doing this quickly just to show you that it exists. Save that. This here should have a background color of blue as well. Sorry, black. So if we run this, let's just close the previous one. Well, let's leave it open just as a comparison. This is the other one. And we have this. I'm sure that we want to make these white colored. So these are currently that color. This is what changed. Now I keep having to make it bigger, so let's just change the sizing. Over here you see our pixels, our width. Let's put that to about 600, I think. And this about 400. Save that. We run again. And then we got that. Now these are all currently the wrong color, So let's see if we can maybe make a theme that's a bit nicer. White on black. Save that. And I don't want this pure black, I'd rather have like a gray. That's too extreme. Gray. I think that doesn't actually good. Red. No. Dark red. That's terrible. Dark gray. Yeah, let's take something. This is all very bad. Pick your own color that maybe is a bit nicer. Wouldn't really suggest taking the colors that I'm picking here. They're all very bad user friendliness, like that. But at least they're legible compared to this what's there. Absolutely terrible colors, but yeah. Anyway, so one great thing about IntelliJ is you can stop all of these running at the same time. Now, actually going a bit further forward, our controller is the thing that deals with being able to manipulate the data between the view, which is your sample, so that what you can see, and our business logic, which is what we do in our main or any other Java class. Now, the first thing that I want to do is to be able to take the file close button, the item menu close button here, to actually quit the program. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a menu item close, Alt Enter, import the JavaFX scene one, not the AWT, and close menu item, or menu item close. Sorry. Item close. And we also have here at JavaFX. Sorry, at fxml. Now what this does is it allows the program to inject your scene or inject your sample here directly to this. And what that means is that you can then associate a button with a method or with an item. So this will automatically associate menu item with a specific one here. And how we do that is over here in your scene builder, you go on the menu item at the bottom, you go on code here, and the FX ID you have to set. And the FX ID you set to the same to be the menu item close. And if we make sure that our controller is correct, and mine wiped, I'm just going to close this for a moment. I'm going to open this again here. Controller in here. Drop down, sample controller, save, make sure that's correct. Then we're going to go on the hierarchy. We're going to take that menu bar, menu item, and we're going to add the menu item close. All right, and save. Now, what we're going to do is that it has to be public. That's the first thing. That's very important, or else it doesn't know how to access it. And then we're going to make a no return, and it's going to just close program. We'll handle close, handle quit, close. Let's make it close. And this is an action event of type of that is an event. Now I need to import that. Make sure to get the JavaFX version. And then all this does is system.out, system.exit and 0, which is just to gracefully close without any error. Then in our scene builder, on menu item close, on action, does handle close. Save that. And now let's check it. File, close, and the program closes with exit code 0. So that handles very well. So that's how we make our program actually do stuff or interact with the GUI. We use an injection here at fxml, have a menu item close, choose that in our code that the variable is associated with that fx ID, And then we can make a public void handle. An action event is for something that gets clicked or any action. Mouse event can also exist when you do a mouse click. You can then be more specific. And you have your menu item close. And you just pick your option from the drop-down list. All right, so what we actually want to do is we want to get the other items that we have, like that username and that password. So they are both JFX text input or text field, which is called username, and JFX password field called password. And the board fxmls, they need to be injected. Now if we go over here, enter username, the FX ID, username, save, password, password, save. And now on either the password or the username being picked, handle username. I don't know why I need to do that. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to do public void handle login action event. And so we also need to get the login button to work. So first fxml private JFX button login button or button login. Let's make do that button login. And then we have this login button here, button login on action handle login and save. And all it's going to do when you do that login is, and notice that it's no longer gray. And what all it's going to do is you have pressed the login button, and then we're going to run this. Login, you have pressed the login button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a couple of times here, and then we can just exit. So now we want to get that information. The given username was, and then we're just going to get username dot get text with password dot get text. Let's play. Again, the run button. Login, password, and login. Now what happens if I have absolutely no text? Nothing, because it's an empty null string. So it takes it as an empty string, and that will be the equivalent of that. Alright, so don't worry about type mismatch there. Now, I actually want to make sure that it's able to get the correct username and password. Let's say we need a correct combination. So we're going to just make a quick resource, and we're going to call this something like user class. And yes, this consists of username and a password string and password. We're going to get a constructor of username and password. And we're just going to need to get getters and setters as well. And maybe we can do something like public boolean, do login, or yeah, let's do login, string username, string password. And then if this dot username is equal to, sorry, dot equals username, and this dot password dot equals the password, then we can return true. And else we return false. Now this can be made slightly more easy by doing something very simple called a ternary operator. And how the ternary operator works is it evaluates something and then does something true and does the second option if false. So we can take this check remove this return keyword, return false, and have it like that. So this is exactly the same. All it does though is that it instantly comes out like that. And because it returns a true false anyways, we don't actually have to do that example. So if you want to actually return a value, and this one here returns, let's say that, and this returns that, and you can do it like that as well. But because it returns true or false anyways, after the evaluation, evaluates the true or false, we don't even need to do the ternary operator, we can just return straight up if it was true or false. So this is a shorthand. Okay. Now, if we just make a normal user, that's an empty constructor, then this .username is equal to John, and this .password is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And we're just going to make it so that on login, private user list on array list of user, and we're going to call this the user list. Okay. Now, if user list is equal to null, then user list dot add a new user, and that's all we're going to do. Then for each user, user, and we'll do it from user list. If user dot do login, and we're going to get username and password is true, then we're going to do success is equal to false, and success will be equal to true. Okay. Sorry, we can't just give a username and password, we actually get the text. My bad. So what this will do is it will go through each user item in the user list, and then if successful, we'll give true. And we're going to print out login was, login details were, and then we're just going to add the success. And we're just going to get rid of this, and we're going to see what happens. So remember, our default one is John and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's run that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, login, and we have an error at line 32 in the controller, which is this one here. Oh, sorry, we have to actually instantiate it first as well. It's equal to new array list. There we go. One, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, login. Return details were false. Still false. Let's try with John. And we got true. So that would be the correct login details. So I don't want to make it so that we check the actual upper and lower casing of the actual username. So we're going to do equals ignore case. Right. So now we have an entire login system. We also have to make register do something. For example, we want to be able to make sure that the user is able to actually register to our program for the first time. And one other thing I would like you guys to do is tie in that this entire user list here goes in another class, just make another class, which is just called load users, and that one will read from a text file all the different usernames and passwords from the previous lesson, and then handle that. Now, what we also want to be able to do is that if we actually log in and it's successful, we want to move to a new screen. Now, what you need for that, you need to have the controller, a main, and a view, the fxml file. So what we can do is we can actually just be really quick and copy all of them, and we can then create a new, well no, let's make it all inside the same one, just for now. What you should do is you should split it into different packages so that you don't lose the overview, and then you won't have that problem that two things happen at once or something like that. So we're going to call it something like logged in controller. In must not be capitalized. Yes. We need another sample FMX file. Let's call it logged in. Yeah. So we can have the logged in controller. We have our logged in. We have to make sure that this is associated with one, so we open that in Scene Builder as well. Then we have your normal text area, which is all the text that exists. Then we have our normal text field. And we need to have something like a button that just submits. And we'll call that send. Let's put it on the button there. And let's give it a nice theme as well, so that it doesn't break our theme. View themes, white on black. Great. Save that. Make sure the controller's there. This goes to the logged in controller. Save that. And then we need to make it so that it actually moves to the next screen on login. So, and our controller over here, if success is equal to true, well, we can do that. We can then move into the next thing. So, if success is true, I can spell success correctly. This is again a shorthand. This evaluates to true, therefore the if is there. So we need to actually move over to another screen. And we're going to call that public void do login again. And we're going to make it so that it takes the fxml file and that we want to move to. So if it's correct, if the user is then able to log in, we'll take that fxml file. We'll first need a parent, that is our stage. Alt enter. And fxml loader. This is kind of learn off by heart type thing. And you can Google this always. You don't have to memorize this ever. Or you shouldn't. If you have to memorize this, then that's not fun. And then we need to have a new scene out of that. And that will be with the FMXL stage. And we need to surround this with a try-catch, obviously. Oh, sorry. I want to surround the block with it. Let's move that over into here. Then the stage needs to be made. And we need to typecast this to make sure that it's always a stage. Event.get source. And of course this has to be a node, as we saw earlier. Let's just force that to be a node. Sorry, this is really just learn off by heart. I don't expect anyone to ever know this off by heart. Know this on the fly. The reason why I'm doing this again is I'll go through the entire code is in order to move to a new screen. And we need to make sure that the event is also given. So this also has to have an event. JavaFX event. And then we need to actually set the stage to be the correct scene. So that's stage. Oh, sorry, scene that we just built on the FXL stage. And then we need to show the stage to everyone. And if that doesn't work, yeah. Right, so first thing we do is we build that stage, and we need to get the fxml file that it belongs to, which is going to be our loggedin.fxml that we're going to pass over here. Then we need to also make that scene out of that stage, or out of that resource. Then we're going to have to, based on the actual window, so that the windows are both the same size when we create them, we need to get its size and its window and then recreate the scene in that window. So we don't recreate this entire window, we don't open a new pop-up window on top of another one, we hijack, so said, this window, and we change the entire scene to our new scene. That way we don't have to recreate a new window every time we want to swap between scenes. Then we set the scene so that it's the new one, and then we show it to the user, and the old scene gets dropped, and the garbage collector will pick it up. So if success, we do login, and our first one is sample.fxml. Oh, sorry, not sample. Apologies. It's loggedin.fxml, and then the event is our event that we already have there that we called event. All right, so let's see if that works. Maybe we'll get a bug, but let's try it out. So John 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, login, and we have this new window. And inside this logged in controller, we have our add.fxml. Let's make it JFX input text in area, which is our user input. Actually, I'm just going to make that private. Private JFX text. Oh, sorry. This is not the user input. This is the message field, message area. And this is the user input. And then we have to make a public void handle send message. This needs an action event. JavaFX. And this handle will literally just take the message area dot set or append text, and we'll put in the user input dot get text, and then we'll also add system dot line separator, just so that it always shows up on the new line. All right, so let's run that. Username John 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Login. Hello. And oh wait, we forgot one thing, which was to tie our buttons to events. So in the code, the send button needs to actually tie to sending stuff. So on action, handle send message, save. This here, fxid, needs to be the user input, save. And this up here is the message area, save. So let's close this. John 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, login, and this crashed. Why did it crash? Because it's a text field in cannot set JFX text field. Oh, this is not a JFX. Okay, this is a JFX text field, and I accidentally used a normal text field instead of a JFX text field. So text field, JFX text field over here. So please use the correct one. My bad. Message area, save. User input, save. On send. Handle send message. John 123456. Login. Send. And that keeps going and has a nice scroll bar. So we also still need to theme the colors correctly, but that's okay. You can sort that out later by yourself. Alright, so as homework for this, I'm going to upload it, is I want you to change this user list into taking from a text file the content. So you don't have it static here in terms of this user input. Then I want you to also make the register button work so that it actually adds new users. So this register button work. Then I also would love it if you guys would retheme this to nicer colors, because this is absolutely terrible. Make this edit have a clear option, so it clears out username and password maybe. And if you want to, you can make a dialog box in order to do help about and be like how awesome you guys are. Just Google that. And maybe make it so that if you log in, oh, and also if you have incorrect, make a dialog box showing that it's incorrect. And maybe over here on the right-hand side, have another little box here saying you are logged in as John or whatever the username is. So what you have to do then is you have to make sure to pass on your actual username to the logged in controller when you create it over here. Don't actually have to worry about that. The other option is you do something like you drop it in the username of who's logged in into a text file that is like active user or something, and then you can then pull it over here just to get around the state object, but there are cleaner ways of doing it, like actually passing it over, but we'll do that in class, I think, hopefully. Right, sorry about this video being so late. I was sick for a while and then I had exams, so I couldn't get around to it.